Picture this. It's January 2022, and the world is witnessing what can only be described as a complete psychological anomaly. Two bitterly divided enemies, rival influencers Logan Paul and KSI, publicly shake hands. And within just a few months, they transform a simple plastic bottle filled with colored water into a $1 billion empire. The chaos that followed was literally unprecedented. We are talking about children being hospitalized. We're talking about high schools across America and Europe outright banning this drink like it was some sort of controlled substance. There was even a chaotic black market popping up, where a single bottle was reselling for hundreds of dollars. But look, according to the classified files we are going to unpack in this explainer today, this global craze wasn't just some organic stroke of luck. It's actually being described as a meticulously planned psychological operation. And the whole illusion starts with a brilliant, highly calculated deception. You see, Logan Paul stood before tens of millions of devoted followers and flat out claimed, "We cannot keep up with production, the demand is too crazy." He was aggressively selling this story of unprecedented scarcity to a completely captivated audience, spinning this suspenseful, almost thriller-like narrative right in front of our eyes. But here's where the story takes a massive twist. Classified documents from their actual manufacturing partner, Congo Brands, reveal a starkly different reality. While the public was being fed this line that demand was too crazy, the factories were actually running at 100% capacity from day one. They claimed there was a massive shortage of the liquid itself, yet millions of bottles were being deliberately held back, just sitting quietly in secret warehouses. So what was really going on? Well, this wasn't a supply chain failure at all. It was a ruthless business weapon known as artificial scarcity. By purposefully choking the supply chain to very specific regions, they engineered human desperation. And the chilling logic behind it? Think about it. If everyone can easily buy it, it's just colored water. But if absolutely no one can find it, suddenly it becomes gold. They effectively weaponized the fear of missing out, hacking consumer psychology so deeply that children literally felt socially isolated if they didn't have that specific neon plastic bottle in their hands. But as if that wasn't enough, the illusion was about to take a very dark medical turn. You see, parents largely trusted the brand because it was heavily marketed as a healthy sports drink. But the marketing, intentionally and quite dangerously, blurred the lines between two completely different products, Prime Hydration and Prime Energy. And that brings us to a frankly staggering reality. 200 milligrams. Let that sink in for a second. That is the massive amount of caffeine loaded into a single 12-ounce can of Prime Energy. To really grasp the sheer severity of that number, a single 200 milligram dose in one small can is the equivalent caffeine hit of chugging 6 whole cans of Coca-Cola or 2 full cans of Red Bull. Pediatricians globally started raising massive red flags over this extreme pediatric dose. Pumping this level of caffeine into a developing child's body allegedly triggers severe heart palpitations, extreme anxiety, and acute kidney stress. But the medical controversy didn't just stop at the caffeine. Top-tier consumer attorneys eventually filed a massive class action lawsuit loaded with terrifying allegations. Listen to this. Independent laboratory testing allegedly found PFAS inside the drink. These are highly toxic, synthetic, forever chemicals. They literally do not break down, they just accumulate in your body, and they are directly linked to immune system destruction and severe hormone disruption. So the so-called ultimate health drink was, allegedly, a chemical time bomb. The revenue matrix, unmasking the true puppet masters. Okay, we need to pivot to the absolute biggest secret of this entire operation. Because if you ask millions of teenagers out there who owns this company, they will confidently tell you it's the billionaire influencers Logan Paul and KSI. But they are not the true owners, not even close. The real corporate reality has been carefully hidden in the shadows. This entire company is actually owned and operated by a very low-profile entity named Congo Brands, founded by 2 businessmen, Max Clemens and Trey Steiger. They are the ones holding all the power. They own the infrastructure, the automated factories, the global distribution networks, the whole shebang. Logan Paul and KSI, they were simply deployed as the ultimate corporate shields. They were just hired faces given a percentage of equity to sell the product. So why does this hidden structure actually matter? Well, Congo Brands essentially used these influencers to completely bypass traditional advertising laws. They utilized an unregulated network of 80 million followers to beam their messaging directly into the brains of minors. And crucially, when the medical lawsuits and the massive consumer backlash finally hit, this structure allowed the true founders to profit massively while entirely dodging the accountability. The influencers took all the public heat, while the real puppet masters stayed safely and quietly in the shadows. But look, a business built almost entirely on engineered hype eventually has to obey the laws of gravity. Fast forward to the aftermath in 2026, and we are looking at a massive 70% drop in global sales across multiple sectors. Because what goes up dangerously fast absolutely must come crashing down. The contrast between then and now is just absolutely staggering. We've gone from the absolute peak hysteria of 2022, where UK supermarkets literally needed to hire security guards to stop riots in the aisles, to the depressing current reality of 2026. Those exact same supermarkets are now desperately dumping dusty bottles into discount bins for less than 90 cents just to clear out their shelf space. The hype cycle has completely, irreversibly burned out. But the reality is, the founders and the influencers already made their hundreds of millions during the peak. The corporate machine won the game, leaving the audience holding nothing but empty plastic bottles and a pretty chilling lesson. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought. If you can hack the digital world, and if you can just create enough noise, can you really sell $1 billion worth of absolutely nothing? Always question the narrative, and definitely question the hype.